Hello everyone, Lucy05 and welcome to the Cobra Command Central channel. And in this video, previously in December 30th, 2010, I submitted a video asking my subscribers to send me a list of questions for me to answer, and the deadline is January 30th, 2011. Now, time has passed and today is January 30th, 2011, and I got a whole bunch of questions that I'll be answering for all of you subscribers that posted me the questions. So let's start off with Julio Vids 101. Question number 1. What are your top 5 heroes and villains? It can be from Marvel or DC or both. Now, my top 5 heroes and villains, number 1 would be the DC Booster Gold. I love that character, I love it very much, especially the current Booster Gold, not the old one. Second, the Marvel Taskmaster. I love that character. Third would be the Marvel Constrictor, because currently right now he is a hero and I really like to see more of Constrictor's appearance being as a hero. Next we have DC Captain Cold. Among all of the characters, I really love Captain Cold, especially the way he uses a lot of variety means to use his cold gun in a lot of different ways. Very interesting. Next and finally is the Marvel Graviton. I know Graviton is already dead, but he's among my favorite characters and most powerful villains in the Marvel Comics. His second question: how would you feel about a sequel to the live-action movie G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, and what and who do you want to see in that movie? Now, I'm actually anticipating for a sequel for the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, as I enjoy watching the live-action movie despite half of the people around the world thinks it's awful. And I would like to see some of the notable characters to show up in the movie, like Firefly and Shipwreck, and have the Hiss Tank to actually show up in the live action, and to which actors to actually show up in the movie. I would like to see the previous cast to actually show up in the sequel. Now let's move on to Sportswolf 3. He asks, who wins on the neutral ground head-to-head fight, Superman or the Incredible Hulk? Since you didn't specify which Hulk era, so I assume it's the current version, and I have to pick Hulk. His second question: why don't you own an Optimus Prime? Please explain. Well, simple. Cause he's an Autobot and I like Decepticons. Hey. Now, another subscriber, 1984 Porter, asked, do you like Transformers? What are your thoughts of the Transformers franchise? Now, this is of course to answer the same time with Sportswolf's second question. I never liked Transformers because I grew up mostly into action figures, and when I was a kid, Transformers is not a cheap toy to get. So the other alternative and affordable toys was He-Man, G.I. Joes and Thundercats. The Transformers franchise to me is a growing market and everyone's into giant robots and mechas. That's a good thing. Franchise is doing absolutely well and has taken a lot of the majority market. But in return, it also killed slowly killing the other toy line. Some of the toy line are dying actually. Namely something like G.I. Joe. Because I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe, as you already noticed. Do I hate the toys itself for Transformers and the franchise? No, I don't. Do I like it? Again, no. Because it's also slowly killing the G.I. Joe franchise. You don't see G.I. Joes a lot, and it has come to the point that, well, I heard the recent news that for G.I. Joes, the Pursuit of Cobra and the cancelled Rise of Cobra lines, they all slowly moved to Target and Ross malls as exclusives. So a lot of people won't be able to actually obtain this absolutely fine toys. So that's my answer. Second, what is your favorite Marvel Legends action figure? Silver Century and Iron Man. because I like anything from the 90s, 80s and 90s period. And Silver Centurion figure is absolutely gorgeous. It's shiny, and it sort of looked the same way as the comic version. His third question is, what are your top 5 favorite Marvel Comics characters? You should have seen this coming. Taskmaster, Constrictor, Stiltman, yes, Stiltman, Graviton, and Mysterio. Next, we have Big Trans Fan, and he asks, since DC kept revisiting old characters and Marvel loves making huge events, would you like to see other previous events revisited with a different writer or artist, hopefully making it better? To answer you, yes, definitely. Would prefer to fix or at least improve DC 52 Infinite Crisis storyline with a better, different writer to amend the issues with the storyline, because it's slow and boring. I'm not too sure what the rest of the people would think about it, but to me, when I read it, I just don't find the entire storyline really capturing me into it. I end up reading Booster Gold sub-storyline and skipping the major storyline instead. And yes, for shame, right? For me itself. And for Marvel, the symbiote invasion, I wish it never happened at all. As a matter of fact, I wish House of M never happened at all. Reading those two storylines wasted my life, and I wanted my life back. I really wish they improve it. Number 2, his question is, since Marvel Universe are going nuts with the figures they made, would you like to see any of the figures not reissued, but redone or revisited? Yes, I would like Hasbro to fix the previous release figures. I prefer having Norman Osborn's Iron Patriot armor be redone, as it doesn't even remotely look like the one in the comics. I would like to have a revisit of McGargan's Black Costume Spider-Man to have a full-out Venom mold. And I would like the Punisher figure, the previous Punisher figures, have problems grabbing holding their own weapons. So yes. Number 3, his final question is, you have Transformers. What line of Transformers do you have online? Well, in my current collection, I still have some of my animated Transformers with me, as I do like those. I like the animation, despite that it died off in season 3 abruptly, and I like the toys actually. But that's all. Most of my collection is about animated. For movie line, no. I used to have a lot of movie line, but I sold them all off. And if you're asking why, I say that the sequel of the Transformers live action movie killed my passion. Moving on to DG Overlord. Number 1, what is your favorite anime or manga? For anime, Azumanga Daioh. I love the comedy, I love the characters. For manga, I love Berserk. If you don't know what's Berserk, check it out. It's a very gritty, medieval fantasy, very dark storyline. Very nice, and the main character is a very awesome character who wields a very huge sword. It's very huge. It's something like a bit of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, but this is much more cooler, and I hate Final Fantasy anyway. Second question, what is your top 3 favorite video games? Now, I don't have any gaming consoles, so I play mostly PC games, and I haven't played any games for a few years already, except for online games. But my top 3 favorite games are Fables, The Lost Chapters, Red Alert 2, and GTA 2 Vice City. No, I didn't play GTA 3. Like I said, I stopped playing PC games for a few years already. Number 3, who would you like to see as a villain in the upcoming Avengers film? Kang the Conqueror. If you want to know more about Kang the Conqueror, go watch the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes animation, especially the last 3 episodes. They are really great. Now, number 4, if you could pick any obscure comic series as a live action movie, which one would it be and which actors would you pick? Obscure. I would say the Marvel Comics Fool Killer. If you don't know who's or what is a Fool Killer, do a wiki search. And I would pick Sean being. He is perfect for that role. Number 5, his last question is, if they decide to make a new G.I. Joe movie, how will you make it? What actors would you pick? What plots would it be? What characters would you have? Now, if there's a sequel for G.I. Joe, and I really pray that there is a sequel, first and foremost, the plot must resolve, or at least must revolve on Cobra's ultimate weapon to threaten the world, similar to the G.I. Joe regular animation, where Cobra Commander just nuke off entire Moscow, and he does it to mean business. Really awesome. I would like to see that kind of ruthlessness of Cobra Commander. Second, same actors should return to the sequel itself. Third, I would like to see Firefly and Shipwreck to be in the movie as well, and not as a side character. Zartan should show up more often, so does the rest of the characters as well. I don't want to name more characters because the film already had too many characters, and if there's too many characters in the film itself, it will tend up to be unable to develop the character's personality or, well, the characters itself properly. Next, we have A369, who sent me a lot of questions. Number 1, based on my channel description, I really like to know for what computer game publisher you're working or worked at. Do you like or play any of the games from them? I cannot actually disclose such information, especially in YouTube. But yes, I do play some of their games, some, not all, and even to the ones that I'm handling as well. I'm sorry I can't tell much. Number 2, what is your favorite rendition of Cobra Commander in figure form? I preferred the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe comic packs version, the one with Cobra Commander packed in with tripwire. That version. Among by far my favorite compared to all the Cobra Commander figures I have. The uniform style design looks very prestigious and smart, accompanying the classic hood makes the entire style very suitable and menacing. Number 3. So, whom of the following do you prefer and why? Darkseid or Thanos? Darkseid, because Darkseid is a god that alone himself is rather quite powerful character, and Thanos' main strength and popularity was the Infinity Gauntlet. Without the Gauntlet, it's not much of a major threat. Flash or Quicksilver? I prefer Flash because the character is a very humorous and more down-to-earth compared to Quicksilver. Quicksilver has a very boring personality, and being a speedster, his powers is still low compared to Flash. Teen Titans or New Mutants? Neither. I don't like the both of them. I don't like teenage superpowered groups or heroes. Batman or Iron Man? Now this question is rather hard. I have to contemplate because I like Batman and I like Iron Man. If I have to choose, I would say Batman, because he's the goddamn Batman. Now, next is the Justice League of America or the Avengers. I don't read as much Justice League of America, more towards the Avengers, so I will have to say I'll have to pick the Avengers now. Because, well, I like the characters in the Avengers, like Captain America. You have Iron Man down on and off, of course. You have Hawkeye, among my favorite characters as well. For Justice League, I only like a handful of the characters there, and it's not as much compared to the Avengers, so I have to pick Avengers. His next question: what is your favorite comic-based film that has been released? Iron Man 2 would be my favorite, despite half of the world said that there's too much talking in the film. But I really love the sequel because every part of the film itself has made a comic reference from the whole Iron Man comics, which I really love. I love it, and that's why a lot of people who never read the old Iron Man comics don't know what's going on, like Tony's alcoholism problems and the rest of the stuff. So by far Iron Man 2 is my favorite, despite the very short-lived fight scene against Whiplash / Crimson Dynamo against War Machine and, well, Iron Man. Very short-lived actually. Now, next, if you were given the opportunity to perfect only one aspect of an action figure where all others would have to be subpar, which would it be? Paint, sculpt, material, articulation, or accessories? I would choose paint. Paint has always been an issue with many toy industries. The quality control issues, the lacking of paint on certain or half of the figure's body, the lacking of details, poor match of colors, weird paint substance that were used on the figure when touched, either sticky or just wears off. Paint. Fix the goddamn paint, please. I don't want to touch the figure having it being too oily. I don't want to see the figure like this, being painted like this. Come on. Paint. Fix the paint. I'm already really fine with the accessories, the articulation, the material, and the sculpt. The sculpt, I have never seen any bad sculpt. Some, but not all. The paint is the most common and major issues there. Next, can you believe Hasbro has pretty much created Joes in every scale? 2-inch, 4-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch, but 6-inch? If Hasbro ever decide to a long-range commitment of a high-quality 6-inch scale of Joes, would you be willing to give up your current collection for this line? If they stop releasing the 3¼ inch G.I. Joe figures and starts to focus on the 6-inch, then yes, I will focus on the 6-inch line, because I am a really big G.I. Joe fan and I'm trying to get the stuff that I can't get because Malaysia simply is abhorrently bad, to collect G.I. Joe toys. It's really hard to get it. His next question asks me, waffles or pancakes? Waffles, with lots of peanut butter and more butter. And the next question is, if you were to create a 5-person team of action figures from all lines that are not A-listers, what would your team look like? Taskmaster, Constrictor, Crossbones, I know it's not released yet, but it's going to release this year for the Captain America movie line. Bullseye, Dakin, the Dark Wolverine version. And number 9 question is, choose one character from each of the following IPs, assumingly you meant identity personalities, that you would like to be and why. For Transformers, Shockwave in the animation, he's very loyal, cold, and calculating. I'm not sure why you're asking this kind of question. For Lord of the Rings, Boromir, despite that he is tempted by the ring's power, he is also a very tragic character and wishes to redeem himself, a little bit like myself. For the 80s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon show, Bobby the Barbarian, due to his impulsive and reckless nature. And lastly, for the Fantastic Four, the Thing, misunderstood, casual, down-to-earth, beer-living, cigar-chomping type of a personality is the one thing that I can relate to. I hope that's what you are trying to ask. And finally, his question. Number 10, what are your top 3 favorite film franchises? Iron Man 2, for obvious reason, V for Vendetta, and Watchmen. Now, moving on to Thunderhound369, and he asks a lot of questions. Number 1, what is your opinion of exclusives online and retail? I hate exclusives because in Malaysia we don't have Walmart, Target, and Ross malls, and exclusive figures that sold from that will never arrive in Malaysia, ever. Some do, but only in specialty toy shops or comic book shops, which the shops would normally sculpt the figures' prices that you can't even afford. Online purchase is a pain for me because I live in Malaysia. Okay, US, somewhere around here, Malaysia, and it's really far away, and I have to pay the cost of the shipping prices, and shipping to Malaysia is very, very expensive, very. And it will take about 4 weeks to arrive because I have to choose the most cheapest shipping price there. Now, I always love retail purchases. No prices are scalped, no figures are exclusive to certain malls, and the best part is everyone has the chance to get the figures, provided if the scalpers doesn't get a hold of them first. His second question: if G.I. Joe Transformers en masse never existed, what toy line from the 80s would you have collected? He-Man, the Master of the Universe. Hey, where's Waldo? That's his third question. Waldo's hiding in Charlie's chocolate factory. His shirt can blend in with the giant candy cane, the stripes. Number 4. Is Lex Luthor the greatest criminal mind of all time? Not really. He's too greedy and arrogant at times that usually cause him to be his own downfall. Even given with the Orange Lantern ring, he even succumbs to the ring's temptation. Even Mara, having the Red Lantern ring, don't go berserk and attacking her own allies. Right? Number 5. Do you like cake or pie? Tough question. I like pie more than cake. Number 6. What is your favorite colored lantern core? You know this is coming. Orange Lantern core. La Fleece is the man. Funny character. Number 7. What 5 Cobra Viper troops would you like to see Hasbro to upgrade? I've been wishing and praying, but I doubt they're gonna be made, but I'll keep on wishing for it. Saw Viper. You need a heavy arms Viper. Okay, a proper heavy arms Viper. The ones I have is not a proper Saw Viper. It's just a repaint, reuse parts, and they call it as an Arctic heavy arms Viper. Heat Viper. Despite that we have a bazooka Cobra Trooper, we need a proper Heat Viper. Frag Viper, we also need a Grenadier. Techno Viper, where's the Science Division? Come on, Hasbro, Science Division. Medi Viper, yes, Medi Viper. Despite that it's not the original 80s release, 80s or 90s release. Medi Viper first came out in the 2000 from the IDW comics. But every Cobra organization, every Cobra army needs a medic. Hasbro needs to churn out a Medi Viper because even the Joes have Doc, for Christ's sake. Number 8. Have you been watching the new Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero series, and if you have, what is your opinion? Think of it. To me, I love it. I watch every single episode, and each and every episode always manages to give me a shock to see new characters popping out, reference to the old comics like Steve Rogers teaching Tony Stark on hand-to-hand combat, funny comic reliefs moments like Hawk and Hawkeye being buddies and so on. I pray hard that this animation don't die like how Transformers animated would in season 3, and continue to go far with its current writers and animators. Please, don't let this die, because this is one of my favorite animation right now. Number 9. Do you see yourself still collecting action figures in 5 to 10 years later? Oh, definitely. I will collect. I'm already 30 years old and I already started collecting since I was a kid, so why would I stop? Hey. Number 10. In your opinion, is it absolutely necessary we get those action figures in extreme poses that causes damage to the figures in their packaging? How do you feel about that? I'll tell you how I feel about it. No, it's not necessary at all to pose the figures like that. It just ruins some parts of the figure's limbs, especially bending and warping the arms and legs, and even to the accessories as well. What's the point of putting the figures in an extreme pose? Come on! Just place the figures standing straight like how they put it for Power Girl in the DC Universe Classics, or just do it just like how G.I. Joe figures would do. Just put them standing straight, have a nicer packaging, and I'm fine with it. I don't need extreme poses to captivate my attention to get the figure. Just make it simple. I don't want the figures to get, ruined. Now, number 11. Do you think Hasbro should relaunch the new Mars series? And if so, do you think it will be successful in today's market? Now, there's a funny and tricky question. If Hasbro should relaunch the new Mars series, it should start out with a good animation, followed by the toys. The toys should be done properly, unlike 18 or Avatar, you know, the movie toys. If they can perform this properly, then yes, it will be successful in the current market. Number 12. Oh, this one's gonna be tough. What 5 characters from DC and Marvel would you like to see Hasbro or Mattel release in Marvel Universe or DC Universe Classics and or Marvel Legends? So this one's gonna be a long one, Brian. For DC Universe Classics, I want Heatwave, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, and Captain Boomerang to complete the Flash Rogues Gallery. So far we have Captain Cole, and that sucks. Okay. Next, for Marvel Universe or Marvel Legends, mostly Marvel Universe because I don't collect Marvel Legends that much. I don't want a bazillion different type of Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, and Thor figures. I just want more villains. How am I to play with my action figures if my heroes don't have enough villains to beat around with? So yes, I would pick Stiltman. You know this is coming. Stiltman, Daredevil's villain, and I don't care if he's dead already. Yeah, I know he's already dead. His crotch been shot off by Punisher's bazooka. But the suit can still be worn by some other guy or woman. So that, Stiltman or Stiltwoman. And the figure don't have to be similar, just like in the comics with the extending legs. Just use the interchangeable legs and I'm fine with it. Grey Gargoyle. I want more Thor villains, please. Ghost. We have so much Iron Man figures. I counted it's more than 10. I'm only getting Iron Man 2020. Whereas the others are from the other line, like the Iron Man 2 line, Guardsman, Ironmonger, Titanium Man, and Crimson Dynamo. And they're not in the Marvel Universe line. I want Ghosts. Especially when you can actually create your own Thunderbolt team. Since Crossbones is going to come out next year, or this year, or whenever. So yes, next is Shocker. Again, so much Spider-Man variations, and the villains in this line itself, it's not a lot of villains. We have what? Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, Electro, Iron Patriot. A handful of villains. We have a handful of villains for Spider-Man, and Spider-Man himself have so much variations. The other 3¼ Spider-Man toy line don't count because those have lack of articulation. Yep. And finally, I would want Baron Zemo. Yes, Baron Zemo. Because one Nazi supervillain is not enough. Besides, having Baron, and it's not any Baron Zemo, it has to be Baron Helmut Zemo. So he can run the Thunderbolts, he can run Masters of Evil, whatever. I want Baron Zemo. For the final question from Brian, in case of a zombie infestation, where would you seek shelter and what the hell would you do? I would find a mall and seek shelter there, plenty of food and water. Then I would need to find weapons, improvised weapons or any weapons at all, and try to find a route to go down the sewers and lead me out of the area. Because chances are, I think it would be much more safer to go down the sewers. I doubt the zombies are smart enough to pull out the manhole and climb in. So that's it. That's all the questions there, and that's all the answers I have given with the questions. I hope I satisfy your curiosity. And yes, this is a very long video, so I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy 05 and I'm